5 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to the newspaper review, where we get to analyze all of the stories that made front page in some of the dailies that we have with us today. An information came across my table yesterday. I went searching for the information, one of the two, and it's a statistics basically that has to do with the amount of doctors that have, how do we use the word, jackpot? That has jackpot from Nigeria since, let's say 2005 up until now. That's for 2 decades. And in 2005 was one of the worst hits, where we had about 2,334 doctors who left the shores of Nigeria. 2006, a bit slightly higher, to 2,976 of them. It moved like that to 2007, where we had 3,000 of them leave. Then in 2008, it dropped to about 1,000. Then 2009 to 600. And it continued dropping and dropping and dropping up until 2016, when we had to go back to huge numbers, which is 1,018. But in 2024, the rise continued from 2016 up until 2024, where we have 3,974 doctors who have left Nigeria. Not only that, according to the World Health Organization, Nigeria currently sits at a ratio of 3 doctors to 10,000 Nigerians. That is, for the 10,000 people who might be ill in Nigeria at the moment, we have only 3 doctors who can actively be on those persons. And we all know the World Health Organization has a ratio of 17 to 10,000 doctors as a normal case. It has to be at least 17 to 10,000 doctors. But Nigeria currently has 3 to 10,000 patients. And this again is how I welcome you to the newspaper review right here on High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. My name is Uche Okori, and I'm not alone this morning.
Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Ilupeju. Good morning, Impact citizens. Welcome to Newspaper Review, where we get to talk to you about everything that we have on the front page of the editorials this morning, as many as you can lay our hands on. Uche, once again. Yeah, I know it's not funny, but this is just the reality. This is where we find ourselves, and the ecosystem, especially when you talk about doctors, is really not helping our medical practitioners. You hear them every now and then talking about a couple of fees that they even have to pay to get certified, to get registered as a registered nurse in the country. So ideally, every one of them just wants to move out of the shores of the country. It's not even about how much they're getting paid now, because compared to what other medical practitioners in other countries are gaining or are getting paid, this is like a major sum of money that you're getting in this part of the world, and it's so sad that we are losing our strong hands out of the shores of the country. And it's not just in the medical line alone. Talk about the engineering, talk about even teaching. People don't really want to commit to serve in the country anymore, because they feel like it's not suitable for them. It's not going to allow them grow, which is so sad, so bad, so exasperating. Good morning once again. Ayode Jajiboye is my name. Welcome to Newspaper Review this morning.
Well, it's always fine to have you on the paper review, and it's always fun to hear you talk to us and share your own opinions about things going on in the country. And the way for you to do that is if you call us up on 0704 425 2109, 0704 425 2109, or reach us via WhatsApp or the regular text message route on 0907 224 0907-224-5018. On all your social media handles, we're on X, FKA, Twitter, we are on Instagram, we are on TikTok at impact 102.1 FM. That is HR Impact 1021 FM. And we are on Facebook at impact Radio 102.1 FM, on YouTube at impact 102.1 FM. So go subscribe to our YouTube channel, click on the notification button so you will know whenever we are live. Like right now, we are live on YouTube, so go watch us to see what's going on. But hey, let's go on a short break. When we come back, we will be looking at the papers in full. Don't go nowhere. It is your urban lifestyle station, our Impact Radio 102.1 FM.
You're looking for an avenue to blast your brand. Why not let us be your detonator at High Impact Radio 102.1 FM? We've got you covered. For advert placement, sponsorship, partnership, call us on 0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, 0902 745 3931. Or send an email to info@highimpactstudio.com.
It's a powerful feeling you can't quite put into words. Transformative, overwhelming, awe-inspiring. Can you feel it? That palpable energy? Get ready for a night where the praise goes up and your spirit soars. High Impact Praise Blast is coming.
Take all of my praise and adoration.
A concert experience packed with high energy, powerful worship, passionate praise, and overflowing thanksgiving. We're reloading the praise. Get ready for High Praise Reloaded. Save the date, Friday the 26th of December 2025. Venue, High Impact Planet Road, Kilometer 12, Lagos Ibadan Expressway, opposite MFM Prayer City, Ibafo. Time 7 p.m. For more inquiries, please call 0706 393 5694 or 08104 229 9509. An electrifying night like this is not one that you want to miss. High Impact Praise Blast. Get ready to ignite your fire. Fire.
You are the most like a shaman. Ale alusanu Ima keki mashadua.
Are you ready for the ultimate football experience? The Discovery Cup 2025 is coming to Lagos, Nigeria from the 11th to 17th of May 2025. 400 talented young players, 20 teams, and 4 top European club scouts will converge at the Inspire Sports Academy ground for 7 days of action-packed excitement. Witness the future stars of football shine on the grand stage with every moment captured by cutting-edge AI technology. By our official tech partners, iBall. Join us live in Lagos or watch from around the world as the action unfolds. Powered by Zero Sports Management in collaboration with Inspire Sports Academy. Sponsored by Mobile, AVE Nigeria, Xavier Stays, LXG Entertainment, Gas Guys, High Impact Studios, and CTA Sports. Don't miss the celebration of talent, passion, and future of football.
Hello there.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
The newspaper review right here on Impact Radio 102.1 FM. That's the show which you are listening to at the moment. In case you are just joining us, you are right on time. Remember, you can always be a part of the conversation if you get to call us on 0704 425 2109, 0704 425 2109, or reach us via WhatsApp and your regular text message on 0907 224 5018, 0907 224 5018. We start with the Guardian newspaper this morning. The Guardian is leading with this one. World Bank admits Nigeria's economic progress, says prices remain high. You find this story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper, and is the World Bank, finally admitting to the bit of progress economically which is going on in the Nigerian economical sector. It's a good one, but at the end of the day, if you ask an average Nigerian if there has been progress, I don't think the answer will be relatively the same down the road, because you ask some of them and they tell you the prices still remains the same, like the methods
not changed yet.
Not changed yet. And World Bank is saying, in as much as there's been a bit of economic progress, the prices still remains high. But there is some sort of economic overview which the Guardian has on the front page this morning, and I'm going to take a few of them, maybe all of them. But the one which I must take is the first one, which says 25,000 naira conditional cash transfers. We had 5.6 million households that have received that payment once. We also have another 2.4 million households that have been paid twice, and 1.24 million households have received that amount 3 times. And
who are these people? How are they getting it? A couple of questions.
How is it determined that they are the ones who actually need these funds? What is the matrix being used to determine all this? And what exactly did this disbursed funds actually do in the economical life of these people? What was it? Okay, 5.4 million households received it once. 25,000 naira. Are they supposed to start a business with it? Are they supposed to stock up for stuff that will last?
Plus or minus, that's like 10 derrick of beans.
Okay, so that's no business then. Okay. Anyways, are they supposed to, use this amount of money to secure a better future for themselves? Which, in our economy at this moment, we know 25,000 can't do that. Irrespective of the location you find yourself. Although 25,000 is huge in terms of some people's location, what it could do for them in terms of food. For example, the amount of food you get in the trenches with 25,000 naira is different from the amount of food
in the trenches.
Of course, it's different from the amount of food you get when you go to the probably urban,
the
eyebrow areas of any state you find yourself in. So, yeah, that happens. But economically, in terms of when you go into the markets, is 25,000 naira different than any other places? Can you use it to start a business even in the trenches? Probably, yes, a small place where you can ground akara and maybe fry akara at a very, very small scale, but you'll be starting at a really, really low scale. Is it enough to set up your family for the future? So there are so many questions that will be asked when you say, okay, you're giving conditional transfers. An expert, economic expert, I've always said, since the years of this whole palliative and sharing of funds has started, that is not really the way to go in terms of taking Nigerians out of poverty. And over the years, they've been proven correct, because it really can't take us out of poverty. A level playing field, a stable economy, an environment that is easy to do business is the only way we can move out of poverty. We're talking about a country where we're having a double-digit interest rate in terms of loans, which has risen up to about over 20-something percent. I think 30-something percent now, but I'm not 100% sure. But who takes a loan and has close to 30% interest rate, and you expect progress to work? How many of these companies have tax waivers?
I'm already paying more.
What is the gain you're going to make out of it? What's the profit? How many of these small-scale businesses have tax waivers? We know some huge businesses in Nigeria receive tax waivers, but are they the ones who really deserve tax waivers in terms of what the economy is saying right now? In Nigeria today, what is still moving the economy is the SMEs, because the percentage of the people living below poverty line is way too huge. And so the SMEs is the only way most of them can survive. It's still what moves our economy in a larger scale, in as much as we do know the bigger businesses has a huge quota which they contribute. But with the amount of SMEs which we have in terms of numbers, it contributes a larger quota too. And if these persons cannot get tax waivers, if these persons cannot, get the necessary, friendlier environment for business to thrive, then it will be difficult to escape poverty. Until we start investing in the economy the right way, start putting the waivers at the proper place they need to be, work on interest rates, the double-digit interest rate which we are on, which is nearly impossible for any economy to survive on. Until those things are fixed, that is the only way we can escape poverty, truly in the economical sense. Until those things are taken away, we just have a hard fight to fight. Okay, other things which you see on the economic overview right here on the Guardian newspaper, we see improving states' fiscal positions. The state's revenue from 2023 was at 7.18 trillion naira. At 2024 is at 13.86 trillion. The state expenditure, there is total government revenue, there is FG states, local government fiscal deficit to GDP ratio. All of this is on the Guardian newspaper graphic. So in case you want to find out all of the details, you need to go check them out. Beside that one, UTME jammed to address technical issues as 8,391 candidates threaten class action. The old JAM scenario is still on. We also know that JAM has hired, experts to go to look at the complaints where many have complained there were technical glitches. Some said they couldn't finish their exams. So many things many of those candidates have complained about. And it's huge because we're talking about 1.9 million people sitting for an exam and 1.5 million scoring below 200 in an exam that is totaled to 400. That's in so many people's book.
People are asking to know what are the metrics.
That is in so many people's book is a failure. And so for so many complaints, some threatening a lawsuit, and JAMB is working on it at the moment, saying there is an expert working to find out if indeed the alleged technical glitch happened.
There was a particular post I saw on X that says there was this candidate who scored 311 in 2024 and dropped to 148 in 2025.
It's alarming because that candidate will feel like I studied so hard.
Yes.
If I could make it 311 back then and maybe I didn't get admission, I need to kill it this time. Maybe do better. Maybe that candidate was, trying to strike up to 400.
Yes.
And seeing a result as that low, you wonder what happened. How
I
did
really
you
feel like
backpedal?
JAM as a body is also listening because just like I mentioned, a lot of talks about things that should be improved on. Talk about their item banks, more like their psychometric evaluation and the conditions that are actually surrounding this particular exam. Just like you mentioned, some of the candidates, according to reports, they were not able to finish their exams, and we know that all of these things can happen. Sometimes
it's technology.
Normal with computer-based tests, you are logged in, and at the point you just feel like,
You just get locked out.
what's happening here? Or maybe there's maybe a power glitch or something. They tell you cannot log in again.
It has happened.
You are done. Just pack your.
We've been in exams where you're logged out of CBT exams and it takes the IT person to come back to help you relog in because they know there's a glitch that happened, which is why you were logged out and all these things. And you realize it submits automatically most of the time. If not the IT person coming, then you get to see that it's you go back to the exact place you stopped and all of that. So those things have happened. So
Honestly,
there's a possibility.
I'm also of the opinion that over 75% cannot and can never be dollars.
But if we want to now say, okay, let's take a look back to over the years, the percentage of those who has been passing JAM over the years, even before now. Has the percentage ever been above 50-60%?
But this is a massive drop.
Yeah, I know.
This is a mass failure.
It's a huge drop. But has the percentage Ever.
I mean, if you look at the statistics very well, 0.63% were the ones who had above 300. Not even up to 1% of them had above 300. So, I mean, it's just to show that something is definitely not right somewhere.
Yeah.
And I don't want to blame the testees now. I don't want to blame the students. I think it's on JAMB now to take a look at what is it behind the scene, their back end really.
Okay, so let's look at this now. 2016, 1.59 million people scored below 200. This is 2016 now. 2017, 1.72 million people, that's 73%, scored below 200. 2018, 74% scored below 200. 2019, 2020, we've always had this. We've always, since 2016, had above 60% of the students scoring below 200 since 2016. And so, yes, I understand. Yes, this is 78%. The highest it has ever been was in 2021, where 87% scored below 200. So, when we see these things and check precedents, you ask yourself, was there really a glitch? Is there anything being hidden? If we are being honest with ourselves, yes, maybe a few persons followed some sort of glitch. But if we go to the past, at least since 2016, we've not had anything less than 64% score below 200. Now we just have 70-something percent. So who's to say it's not correct? Who's to say it's not the education system that has slaughtered really bad? Who's to say it's not the students who are not really performing as they should perform?
Uche, as much as I'll also say that students might be lazy these days, or maybe the standard of the education is also falling, but this particular mass failure, I beg to differ, and I'm reiterating it, that you cannot put all of this blame on the students.
No one is blaming the students. I'm just saying.
Either JAMB is going to look at their pattern of scoring these students, or maybe something else has happened back end.
Okay, but from 2016, are we going to go back up till 2016 to check all of this? I'm just saying.
Let's start from the most recent one.
I'm just saying. I just feel this is getting more.
How do you explain it that 24,000 plus did not even get up to 100?
Well, the same way you can explain since 2016, the education system. In my own books, it's the education system. People are no longer studying the way they should. Not to blame them. It's the society in large general, because education is not longer as attractive as it used to be. I think that's the bigger problem here. I don't think it's JAMB that's the problem. I think the bigger problem here is the fact that education is no longer as attractive as it used to be. The same percentage of students who want to go to school and study hard just to go to school is not as high as it used to be anymore. If from 2016 we've been so poor and we're only talking about it in 2025, in 2021 it was worse. 80-something percent failed. That's the highest we've had. There was no outcry in 2021. So why is the outcry now when it's 74%, which is an improvement from 2021? So at the end of the day, a larger look needs to go into our education system.
You can blame 2021 on COVID.
Okay, well, well, that's the point. But at the end of the day, a larger look needs to go into our education system. It goes to show how badly we've dropped when it comes to education. And so if we keep, pushing blames, and now we're trying to push it on JAMB, the moment I saw it, I was like, oh, wow, history can't lie. History can't lie. Those who know their history are the only ones who will know how to get to the future.
Sometimes it could be rewritten.
Wow. You have a point on that one. Underneath that story, we find this one. Suspension. Court hears contempt. Other application in Natasha's suit today. You find that story on page 28. NNPCL to resume oil drilling in North as production threatens 2025 budget. Page 28 is where you also see that one. Lagos LP suspend chair. Dissolves ward executives as Abure faction tackles OT. You find that story on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper this morning.
It's a lot happening with the Labour Party right there.
Is it just the Labour Party?
This is the same party that came out a couple of days ago to say that they are going to be giving APC a lot of trouble come the local government polls in Lagos State. Now, they are already having, I mean, it's not just Labour Party really, but this issue of fraction between Abure and Oti, I think it's taking way too long, and it's not making them look like a serious in contention for what we call opposition. They don't even look like it.
Well, if we want to check out the opposition at the moment, does anyone look like it? The PDP has how many of their governors defecting? We see former governors of the PDP defected. We've seen current governor of the PDP. We've seen senators, House of Rep members.
Yeah.
I think in general, the opposition in Nigeria is lacking. Not only in terms of the fact that there is no really deeper party ideology. It's more of a structure than an ideology. And what do we call structures in this part of the world is something we've got over time, we've gotten to realize is how much influence you have over institutions, not rather a structure of the people that you really possess under your belt. Because this same Labour Party, if we are being honest, in the presidential election, no one expected them to have gathered the amount of votes which they gathered in the last election.
I think that is where we are missing it now.
Yeah, I get the point.
The fact that they did well in the presidential election should give them more boost to put their house in order.
That's the point. The point is this. At the end of the day, it leads down to, is there a party ideology in most of the parties? Because if you realize, it's not really because of the party, which is where the point I'm going to. It was not it was about the individual which was involved, because we saw the elections of the states and you saw there was a huge difference between what happened in the federal elections
and the state
elections. So you got to realize, was it really the party or the individual? And so until we get institutions, parties that has ideologies that doesn't have to be with only individuals, but they have an ideology that leads them as one, we'll continue seeing these problems where people jump from one party to the other, where oppositions become overnight become ruling parties. Where, you get me? Until there's an ideology of parties. Let's use the the US for example. You know for a fact that if you see a Democrat, irrespective of who is coming as a Democrat, you understand the ideology at which they are going to go. You have an idea of what they're going to do. Same as Republicans. The only people which you won't have an idea of are the independents. And because that's just an independent person trying to do whatever
the ones who are
to
trying
do.
to be conservative.
You get my point. So even the conservatives have an idea. You have an idea of what they want. There's an ideology. But is there an ideology with our parties here? Or is their ideology just to rule? That's another important story altogether. Other stories which we have right here on the Guardian front page. We see 2027 amid pushback, zoning complaints, others, PDP explores reconciliation. Talking about opposition now. Freight forwarders write Tinubu as cartels sell e-call-up code for 400,000 naira. That is on business page 15. Beside that one, US-China agreed to roll back tariffs for 90 days. The 145 tariff hike. Yes, they decide to, chill back for a bit for 90 days. And we've seen improvement in terms of trade between both countries. Let's see how that works for the world in general. And finally, on the Guardian newspaper, Edo governor seeks arrest of new Black Movement president, Ese Kako. You find that story on page 13 of The Guardian, and that's The Guardian for this morning.
Away from the Guardian newspaper this morning, we'll go straight into the Daily Trust newspaper. The leading story on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning is talking about World Bank and their querying NNPCL's remittance of subsidy proceeds. It says World Bank queries NNPCL's remittance of subsidy queries. This news broke out yesterday that the proceeds of the petroleum subsidy removal by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited is being currently probed. That was at the inaugural on May 29, 2023. So right now, for every of the remittance of the subsidy, World Bank is saying that they don't have an account for it. They don't know where everything has been going into in the last 2 years now, if I'm not mistaken, in the last 2 years. Away from that story, leading image on the Daily Trust newspaper is saying Boko Haram launches attack on another military base in Borno. You want more of that story? You can check on page 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. And just beneath the Daily Trust newspaper this morning saying bandits abduct 5 persons from Plateau Market. You go out and you're not sure whether or not you're coming back home, going to the market, and then you get abducted. I mean, the first one I took, that was talking about the Boko Haram launching attack on the military base in Borno. I feel so bad for the military personnel that are actually in that place, because of course, before you talk about, them conquering that particular base, there must have been some form of duel between the two sides, and how it is that the Boko Haram sect are able to overpower the military in their own base.
Allegedly, some of them were even captured. Some of the soldiers were allegedly captured. So it's sad, it's gruesome. It's a huge blow on the security network currently in Nigeria.
Well, away from that, it's also saying that we'll continue oil search in North. That's coming from Ojulari. Ojulari is the Director General of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. Says we'll continue oil search in the North, and that's on page 21 of the Daily Trust newspaper for this morning. Still on the Daily Trust newspaper, man sentenced to death for killing friend over cap. Whoa. Over cap.
I think there'll be more to that story. Yeah. There's definitely more.
Cannot
to that
just be
story.
cap.
Yeah.
Just be.
It could even just be cap. Probably it's something that it could be an accident. It could be something, but there's always more to that story.
I want to believe it wasn't intentional.
Well, our people will find out when they leak at the Daily Trust later on.
Below the nameplate of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, expect electoral reforms before 2027. This one is coming through from the INEC chairman. Expect electoral reforms before 2027. Okay, all hands in glove. We're waiting to see the reforms that will be put in place before the 2027 election. Adamagum's tenure national secretary position threatening People's Democratic Party National Executive Council and also their convention. Adama Group's tenure national secretary position threatening PDP, NEC, and also their convention. And still on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, and the sports corner, you have Flying Eagles dethrone Senegal, qualify for World Cup. That's on page 46 of the Daily Trust newspaper for this morning.
Okay, the Daily Trust is what you just heard. We will be moving to the Vanguard newspaper now. But before then, remember you can reach us on 0704 425 2109. I take that one more time. 0704 425 2109. And that's for your calls. In case you want to reach us via WhatsApp and the regular text message, it is on 0907 224 5018. 0907 224 5018. The Vanguard newspaper, defections, PDP's collapse imminent. This is according to Ganduje and Wike. That's the you find on page 5. Underneath it, our party will rise again in 2027. This one is from Wabara. We were talking about the opposition and the issues they are currently facing. So more of it we will find out soon enough. Underneath it, conference hall, experts to brainstorm on government performance at midterm. You find that story on page 5. And you wonder, is there really much to brainstorm about when you want to talk about government's performance in the last years? I think everyday Nigerian will feel like administration after administration after administration, government's performance has not really been good enough. Beside that one, poor UTME results were all responsible. NAPTAN. You find that story on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Underneath it, Soldiers killed as Boko Haram attacks military base in Borno. That was the last story which you were talking about before the sports corner. That story you find on page 6. It has one rider to it. It said, suspected herdsmen kill 7 in fresh attacks on Benue communities. Before this story, we had on the papers yesterday that 149 has been killed in Benue communities in 40 days. 149 has been killed, allegedly, in 40 days. And now this is 7 more in 40 days. These are humans, man. These are humans. The sanctity of life is so important, but in this part of the world, it just seems like every single day a life is lost and we move on like nothing
really happened.
Beside that one, you get to see image of the Sukuk investors meeting. So in case you want to find out about what went down in the Sukuk meeting, you need to go look at the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Other stories which we still have right here above the nameplate of the Vanguard. At the very top of it, it says World Bank, FG disagree on budget 2025 assumptions. You find that story on page 20. More of the reasons why there will be much disagreement concerning the budget is the fact that we know that there was a particular cap at, oil barrel price, which the government used in, preparing the budget. And we know oil price has dropped. So how does that work? I think that's one of the major disagreement. But in case you want to find out all of these assumptions and the major things they disagree about, it is on page 20 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Underneath that story, you have 3 more. This one says, Delta, how monarchs, vigilante members aid kidnappings. You find this one on page 12. High Court dismisses suit challenging Eyewuma as Ologbo Resere of Warri Kingdom. High Court dismisses suit challenging Eyewuma as Ologbo Sere of Warri Kingdom. That story is on page 14. FG opens 300 billion naira sukuk as investors ask for more. FG opens 300 billion naira sukuk 7 as investors ask for more. Page 19 is where that story is, in case you're interested in what has to do with the sukuk investment. And finally, on the sports corner of the Vanguard newspaper this morning, Egypt 2025, Nigeria qualify for 2025 FIFA Under-20 World Cup finals, and that is a beautiful news. Dislodging the former champion Senegal in the quarterfinals, and so it's a beautiful one, and congratulations to them, as they will represent one of the teams representing Africa in 2025 in Egypt. And that's the much for the Vanguard this morning.
That's the newspaper review right here on Empire Radio 102.1 FM. Don't forget you can be a part of the show this morning. 0704 425 2109. 0704 425 2109. Let's get interactive together on the show. You can as well drop us your message on WhatsApp, maybe a regular text message 0907 224 5018 0907 224 5018, your WhatsApp message or your regular text message. We are also live on our YouTube channel at iImpact 102.1 FM. iImpact 102.1 FM right there on YouTube. Taking stories from the Punch newspaper this morning. Leading story on the Punch newspaper is saying federal government, World Bank at odds over funding strategy. Federal government, World Bank at odds over funding strategy, says 54.9 trillion naira budget is what is causing the odds between the both of them. For more on that story, it's on page 2. And talking about the rider to that particular story, says banks fear government may resort to CBN emergency fund, fault budget parameters. Minister also counters it. Okay, looks like it's going to be a very long one between all of this parastatals right now. The federal government is talking, the World Bank is talking, CBN also looking to protect a bit of their own, and then the Minister of Finance also has a different opinion. Talk about this particular situation right there. And away from that, the top image on the Punch newspaper this morning has the image of Edwin Clark during the I think the burial procession yesterday. This image is coming through from the Bayelsa State government. Since Bayelsa said to immortalize Clark amid tributes from Jonathan and also Governor Doye Diri. Bayelsa said to immortalize Clark amid tributes from Jonathan and Diri. For more on the story, check out page 5 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Still on the Punch newspaper this morning, just beneath the nameplate is saying United Kingdom unveils plan to slash annual immigration by 100,000. You know, I was seeing a story the other day. What was it a story? Or someone was sharing with me about how United Kingdom are now looking to set up asylum. In some parts of Africa, especially in Rwanda, looking to cut the number of asylum seekers in their own country. And someone said, can't the United Kingdom government just queue them up, get them trained and all of those things? And I'll be like, you have a lot of people who are not originally asylum seekers, but the fact that they made it into that country, they turned themselves into asylum seekers, and the rest they say is history.
Yeah. It's crazy when you see all of these things and you see all of these expectations from other people from another country that is not even theirs.
Yeah, I was checking the stats too. They had a lot of Palestinians, and on the list you also have Nigerians too. Yeah, with the highest number of asylum seekers. And if you take a look at the meaning of asylum, I mean, do we have any political unrest, or maybe people are running away?
Well, you can say there's some coming out from the northeast, some coming out from Plateau, some coming out from Benue State. It's unrest. Thousands of people, hundreds of people are dying there. So if you can escape and go where you feel your life is not threatened, I think to a great extent. But let's not go there yet. Let's talk about the fact that I don't think the whole arrangement with Rwanda is still active as it stands now. I think
it can happen.
Yeah, no, it happened even before Keir Starmer came into power. It was agreed with Rwanda, but when Keir Starmer became prime minister, I think there was some sort of disagreement. But I can't be 100% sure now. But it is not really continuing at the moment currently. But what I know, the UK has done, Keir Starmer especially has done, in terms of immigration, which he announced yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, which is what the papers are talking about, is the fact that there is an increase in terms of the language proficiency of you who wants to come into the UK. So he's saying, along all immigration routes, the English language proficiency will be increased. So he's saying, it makes no sense that you want to come to the UK and you do not know how to speak English.
Good English.
Okay, so
the Queen's English.
Okay, so the proficiency is being increased to the ability of English along all immigration routes, whatever route you seek to take, probably education, whatever route, it's increasing, and so they hope to target over 100,000. In terms of numbers that we reduce in terms of immigration that comes into their country each year. So I think they are doing what works for them, what's best for them. And you can't blame a country for doing what's best for them. And so all I will always say is leaders of other nations to start doing what is best for them too. Start doing things that will make your country a better place. Start doing things that will make them need you rather than you needing them. So I most times do not try to talk against whatever any country wants to do in terms of their immigration policies and laws, because I understand they seek to protect their own. But if we want to now go deeper in history in terms of what's the involvement of most of these countries in the situation at which many of these other countries find themselves in. I'm talking about Palestine, I'm talking about Nigeria, I'm talking about many countries in Africa. If we want to go down history lane, would you really say they are innocent from why so many immigrants are rushing down now to their country? Are we going to find them innocent? Well, in some people's book, maybe. In some people's book, maybe not. But that's left for you to decide. But as of right now, the UK, the only plan is to make sure that immigration is reduced as much as they can reduce it. And the path at which they have taken now is the language proficiency. You must be able to speak English before you can migrate to the UK.
All right. Away from that right now, still on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning, says Lagos APC aspirants protest today over local government primaries. The primaries was conducted sometimes last week, and it says Lagos APC aspirants protest today over local government primaries. A lot of news has been emanating from that angle, where a lot of party faithfuls and also aspirants are bringing out their minds, are saying that some candidates are being imposed on them, and that some people from some quota are using the name of Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to impose candidates on them.
Well, first and foremost, I will first say, even the ruling party is not void from the issues of party shenanigans, just like the opposition parties. Remember when I said no party ideology is one of the biggest issues? These are things that party ideology, if it existed, wouldn't even occur in the first place. So there's a party issue across all lines in Nigeria, a political party issue first and foremost. Secondly, in terms of imposition of candidates, these are things that we hear about. It has been alleged, but where's the proof? Where is the proof? Were elections not conducted? So let's find out. There needs to be proof. Okay, there's a protest. When you come to protest, what's the protest all about? They were imposed. Is there proof? Did the elections not take place? Did they just come out and say, okay, this person is the candidate? Are there video evidence? Or none of you who were present there decide to take video evidence to say, oh no, you people are infringing against my rights? Where's the proof? Let's have proof that candidates are being enforced, which it makes no sense if we're being honest, because the local government elections are the closest to the people.
Yes.
And we're talking about a situation where we're talking about local government autonomy coming into place, where everybody's saying, is it really going to work? Are these people going to really be free, even if they get to have the so-called local government autonomy, even if they get to have their own accounts? How are we so sure the governors won't place their own personal persons or all of this? So if you are accusing anybody of planting anybody, that means the suspicion which we've had in the past is what you're trying to say is coming forth at the moment. And for you to fight that, you need to have proof.
I mean, I was going through Yaba a couple of days ago, and you can tell for free that the protest was basically because of this, talk about imposition and worth of it. We hope that they get their house in order just before the election that will be happening come July. Right, that's talking about the local government elections here in Lagos State. Away from that story right now, it says push to crash drug prices gain FEC's approval. Push to crash drug prices gains the Federal Executive Council approval. More on the story is on page 13 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And just above the nameplate, it says why Tinubu will defeat PDP again in 2027. Guess who is saying this? The man who lost to talk tough. And that's talking about some wiki. It says why Tinubu
It's important to note is a PDP chieftain.
Okay.
Points that out.
Okay. I mean, I already stated that the man who likes to talk tough. So I think
the PDP chieftain who likes to talk tough.
Why Tinubu will defeat PDP again in 2027? A writer to that story is saying Saraki heads 7-man PDP reconciliation panel. PDP and reconciliation, they're like 5 and 6. Every now and then, there's always a reconciliation meeting. They're either meeting in this person's I mean, that's part of politics, yeah. They have to meet every now and then.
Hopefully, it works out for them because
This time around.
an opposition is needed for a democracy to succeed. We need to have stronger oppositions across different party lines, whether the PDP, whether the LP, whether the NNPP, whatever the party lines.
Yeah.
There needs to be a strong opposition. So, whatever they do, however they do it. Good luck to them.
All right, and lastly, on the front page of the Punch newspaper, this one, I beg your pardon, oil drilling to resume in the north. That's coming through from the NNPCL. Well, that's not the last, really. I've got one more to share with you. This one is talking about restructuring. Says federal government deploys special teams to underperforming discos. Yes, I saw this story last night, and it was such a bit of relief to me because honestly, some people are paying more while they are getting less. Especially when you talk about the power sector, and especially this is affecting a lot of the band A consumers. They pay more and they get less.
Well, band A, band B, band C, band D. If band A, who is supposed to be getting about 24 hours of light, is not getting that amount of light. So you should be so sure that band B, who is supposed to be getting about 18 to 20 hours of light, is also not getting that amount of light. So for across all bands, they pay and they don't get their service, whether band A or band B or band C or band D. We also saw the court rule that some band A customers be, giving back a certain amount of money, about 554 streets, if I'm not mistaken. But all of this goes to show how crazy the electricity sector has been and how underperforming most of these discos have been in terms of distribution, in terms of metering, in terms of so many other things. And the government needs to do more. It needs to investigate more. It needs to shine a light on it more. The electricity sector is one sector that has all the powers in it to drive our economy by over 50 to 60%. If it works 100% in the electricity sector, there will be at least 50% change in our economy in terms of manufacturing, in terms of SMEs. Different parts of the sector depends on electricity for 24 hours electricity to work. Even the banking sectors, they will be glad not on their diesel gen anymore and all of that. So many sectors will work. And so more than just, some sort of committee formed to check on the performing sector discos, there needs to be a committee checking the entire electricity sector because it's underperforming. The entire electricity sector is underperforming and it needs to be checked and it needs to start performing at optimal stage. Nigeria shouldn't be producing less than 6,000 megawatts of electricity in a country that actually needs over 24,000 megawatts of electricity to satisfy its citizens. Producing less than 6,000. That is not one thing that we can talk about that is good enough for what Nigeria has to be today. That's the Punch newspaper for this morning. That's our show for today. I want to say a very big thank you to everyone who opened their ears to us this morning. We will be in your ears again tomorrow for the Wednesday edition of the newspaper review right on our Impact Radio 102.1 FM. But before then, my name remains Uche Okori. Have yourself a fantastic Tuesday ahead of you.
And I am Ayodeji Ajiboye. Go out there and be the best version of yourself. Don't forget to be kind, because kindness is the new currency that we're spending right now. So yes, be kind to people around you. I'll see you when I see you once again. And still, we are on the Morning Impact Show here on Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Have a blessed and highly favored Tuesday.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising